Hi, welcome back to It's Whatever, right? I'm your host, Jen. Sorry about my itchy, scratchy coffee voice today. I'm just getting over a cold. But in today's podcast, it's going to be about how I live in a sustainable living. Um, I've been living a more of a sustainable living for a little over a year now. I say a more sustainable living than a low to zero waste lifestyle because um, there's technically in the world that we live today, there is no such thing as living a low to zero waste. Unless you're literally going to go off the grid and live in the booties and live completely 100% off of the earth, then technically there's no such thing as a zero waste lifestyle. Um, that's why I say a more sustainable living. Um, this all started a little over a year ago because I'm way too lazy, for one, to be constantly taking my trash out to the curb each week. It's not even like I'm lazy, it's the fact that I don't have time to take my trash out to the curb each week. I have better shit to do than have to worry about the amount of garbage that I take to the curb. Before I had gone completely, well, not completely because I'm still working at it, but because before I had gone on this sustainable living journey, this sounds really disgusting today, but it's completely normal with most households. I used to myself feel you gotta with recycling, you gotta start out your recycling, obviously. But like before I went on this journey, I used to fill like half of recycle bins just with recycling and have no problem filling up a half of a garbage bag full of garbage. Now that I look back on it, that's fucking disgusting. Really fucking disgusting. And today, looking back just over a year ago, I'm like, I don't know how I could live like that. That's really no. So, yeah, that me going into a sustainable living mostly did start from the fact that I didn't want to take the garbage and recycling out to the curb each fucking week. Like, I have other things to do with my time besides worry about fucking trash. Legit. Also, at the same time, I I'm big into documentaries such as shows like Our Planet and I think it's Earth or any documentaries on the planet in general. They kind of really fascinate me, and pretty much if us humans don't change our ways within, or if we don't change our ways now, within the next, I don't know, 50 years or so, our planet is going to come to an end. And there will be no turning back because our planet would be so fucking destroyed that no amount of sustainable living will change anything. No amount of cleaning the oceans, no amount of swapping out things for more equal, friendly products, nothing will work. It would be way too far gone to literally try and go back. Before watching these documentaries, I honestly thought that I was pretty good at being eco-friendly. I recycled properly and I use the compost bin. But apparently that isn't fucking good enough according to our planet that is literally fucking dying as we see it. So between those documentaries and doing other research, um, like doing my homework, and I do follow a couple of people on YouTube who are into and huge on sustainable living and to try to change little stupid things to make myself a little bit more eco-friendly, to be more sustainable. Little things like changing my daily habit, like some things in my daily habits and things in my daily living. I guess I don't know if those are like the same thing, but also when living a sustainable life, gotta use up, like when I was learning to become more sustainable, I learned before the benefit of other people been doing this for a while is that you got to use up the shit that you already have in your house. That's the whole point of being sustainable. Like you can't just go, let's say, change out your shampoo containers and go straight to shampoo bars and then throw out the shampoo bottle. Well, no, because you already purchased the bottle. The bottle's already in your house and it's still half full and you're going to throw it out so you can use the shampoo bar. Well, no, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of sustainable living and to bring down your eco footprint and to go like zero waste because you just created waste. You already purchased the bottle of shampoo and it's still half fucking full. Use the shit up first and then properly dispose of the empty bottle and then go into using the new shampoo bar for an example. Fun tip. Did you know that one shampoo bar or one conditioner bar equals out to be 3 bottles of shampoo and or conditioner? 1 bar equals 3 bottles. And you know what's funny? The shampoo bar and conditioner bars are literally a fraction of the price of a bottle. Isn't that like, that's fucking ridiculous. Mind you, there are companies that you can order from, and like I get that some people have special shampoos or maybe special soaps that they need, and that does suck. But at the same time, side note, there are companies that you can create your own shampoo to your needs, and they come in biodegradable bottles, and I don't remember what the company is called, but you can create your own shampoo and conditioner, and it comes in this a biodegradable, reusable bottle. So once you finish the product, you can ship it back. I think that's amazing. But the sucky thing is that it's still in a way causing a footprint, a cropping footprint, because you got to order it and then you got to send it back. So to me, I don't really know how I feel about that in a way, but yeah, because I know that like some people are big on liquid shampoo or maybe like body wash instead of like a bar of soap, and you can get more sustainable body washes that the bottles do decompose. But That's just like simple thing like that. And here's a TMI for everybody. Um, I am a lady, so I do get my monthly friend every month. Yay, so much fun. Um, I find it still took me a bit to come across this, is that there are reusable pads and tampons, like a Diva cup or something, that you can use in replacement of pads and tampons, like the disposable pads and tampons. Um, I mean, I've been using the reusable pads from Luna pads for 2-3 cycles now, and to me, I think they're fucking fantastic. And I have used the Diva cup before that, so pretty much it sounds disgusting, but you would use the Diva cup and then rinse it out and then put it back up, and the same thing with the pads. You just use it, rinse it out, put a clean one in, and then throw them in your regular laundry load when it's time to do laundry. Sounds disgusting, is disgusting, but it's less more disgusting than, like, you're still touching it, even if it's a disposable one, because you're still taking it out and putting it in the trash. And I'm 26, so the pads and tampons that I have been using since I was 12, so 14 years now, are still in the landfill from the first time I had received my monthly friend, Mr. Period. So, for it being 14 years fucking later and my first pad is still in the fucking landfill and has not, like, probably has not even started to decompose, that's fucking disgusting. And people will bash somebody who is reusing using a reusable pad or using a Diva cup, because you gotta wash it out. Bro, you are making more trash. And I had somebody tell me that I am using more water by rinsing it out and um, then putting it for wash. Technically, no, because I'm using less water to make the product, and then it's with me. I spent $150 for my set, and that will last me a couple of years, maybe 5-10 years. But over the course of one person's cycle, from the time that they were 12 till the time that they are 50, you would have spent $6,000 just between pads and tampons. That's a lot of fucking money. And that's like another point of why I also, like, went to more of a sustainable living, and it just worked out that it is helping the environment a lot, is that I personally also, between not being lazy, but I don't want to spend the money each month. I know it's only $7 for a box, but it adds up. 6,000 fucking dollars later just to have my fucking period. No, that is ridiculous. It is cheaper, it is easier to have reusable pads and a Diva cup in the house than it is to worry about going to go buy a new box of fucking tampons. That's just absurd to me. This other point, to me, it kind of works out in my favor more because I am vegan, and so by being vegan, it kind of helps me a lot in the sustainable lifestyle because you don't need as many resources to be vegan. Like when you're a carnivore, you eat meat, so you need to have a shit ton of water to water the food, to make the food for the cows. And then you need to take the cow and you need water in a factory to make it into a fucking hamburger or some steak. So there's even more water. And then now it's got to ship to your local grocery store. And now it's got to get to your fucking dinner table. That is a lot of carbon footprint there. And so by me being vegan, it kind of helps with the carbon footprint a lot. Um, in a sense that here, I'm gonna get sidetracked for a second here. The sustainable living has many different meanings and definitions, um, depending on who you talk to. And that person's living needs and where they're living and their typical overall lifestyle. Like my lifestyle is completely different than your lifestyle in general, hands down. But my definition of sustainable living is a mix of things to me. It's keeping plastic out of my daily living. Sometimes that's why it's called sustainable living. Like I would say sustainable living instead of low to zero waste, because sometimes I do fuck up and I will buy something in plastic and regret it later. But sometimes it's hard to keep plastic out, but I do try my best to avoid plastic and to try and find the non-plastic version of a food. But like I said, sometimes it's actually very hard to do so. Especially when buying certain things like I do buy vegan butter, which comes in a plastic container. And I'm not too sure on exactly how to make vegan butter from scratch. And I do buy oat milk, or sometimes I'll buy cashew milk, which does come into a cardboard box. And yes, you can make your own oat milk, almond milk, cashew milk from scratch ingredients by hand, but I'm really lazy, as I established several times in this video. And at the same time, I'm actually very poor. So to me, sustainable living has a huge impact on my bank account. I find that to me, when I went vegan, I noticed a huge change in my bank account where I was typically still buying the same amount of groceries, still buying but in vegan foods that will provide me with protein and calcium and iron, etc., things that your human body needs. Side note, every human body is different and needs different things. My body is different than your body. My lifestyle is completely different from your lifestyle. I personally eat a lot of nuts and seeds and a lot of fruits and vegetables. I also enjoy baking a lot and making a lot of my foods from scratch. So, with that said, doing enough research on sustainable living and how I can change things out and make all of these more sustainable. And most of my products that I do buy, like my baking goods and all my nuts and seeds, I go to my local bulk barn and I have my own reusable bags. My own reusable produce bags where I can just go to my local bulk barn and fill up my bags with the products that I need. And my grocery store is about a block away. So again, I it grocery stores aren't the most sustainable in my opinion, but I don't have time to go down to the farmers market, and I find that over the years that the farmers market isn't so good. But or I do try and attempt to make my own, grow my own fruits and veggies at home, but I always seem to kill them. But anyways, this year I'm going to try a different method and try again and grow my own veggies that will also help me with bringing down my carbon footprint and the amount of times I need to go to the grocery store. Mind you, I'm very good at buying fruits and veggies and organizing it and keeping it in the fridge and how to properly store things in order to make everything last 2 weeks. So, like, buy enough that it doesn't go, that I can make 2 weeks, but at the same time, watch how much I purchase so it doesn't go bad and everything gets eaten. So, and before purchasing other things in the kitchen, again, reusing everything that you have. Like, you already bought a tub of peanut butter. You can make it yourself at home. It's a lot cheaper to make your own peanut butter or your own almond butter or Nutella at home than it is to buy a jar of it. But again, don't be throwing out your shit and replacing it with a sustainable product because you just wasted food or you wasted shampoo. And that's like the same thing with, let's go back to the TMI, when you switch over to the Diva Cup or to the reusable pads, is to use up the already existed pads and tampons that you already have in your house because you already purchased them. You might as well already fucking use them up. And another thing is that I'm not there yet, but when purchasing new clothes, they say that, which is true, that purchasing your clothes secondhand is more sustainable than buying something brand new. Which is true, I guess, in a way, but I'm not in that stage yet. Like I said, this is more of like a sustainable living is like a journey. There will always be obstacles, like, for an example, welcome to 2020, where we have the coronavirus going around, and I'm a big fan of coffee. My obsession is fucking coffee. But I do make my own coffee, and my coffee is from the bulk barn, obviously. But sometimes when I don't get a chance to go home during my work day, I do go out and purchase a coffee. And I, of course, always have my reusable cup in my bag. But with the coronavirus going around, our local Tim Hortons and McDonald's are not accepting. So I have read on Facebook and heard on the news that nobody's accepting reusable cups at the moment, which is pretty understandable, but that kind of fucking sucks. Because I can't use my reusable cup, and by using a reusable cup, some places do discount it and give you like 10 cents for using your reusable cup. But with the virus going around, nobody's accepting reusable cups, which kind of fucking sucks big time. So with that said, it kind of does suck, but it just makes me bring an extra cup of coffee in another reusable mug to make it last longer. And when I'm able to go on lunch, I just make sure I make another coffee or two to help me with the rest of my workday, which does help a lot actually. But I've noticed that in the past year or so that I have been living sustainable, the amount of money that I have saved in the past year, um, between, like, I guess I've become more of a minimalist in a way as well. I've always kind of felt in the past few years, a year or two before becoming sustainable, that I have been decluttering my home. That Tidy documentary on Netflix, um, where I can't remember her name at the top of my head, but pretty much if something doesn't bring you joy, get rid of it. And that's what I have been working on for the past few years, is to declutter my home. If it doesn't bring me joy, it can fucking leave. But yeah, so I have noticed that in the past year that I have been living sustainable is that I've started to become more and more of a minimalist at the same time, as sustainable, because I'm not really like into much of clutter. I fucking hate clutter, and looking at my desk, I'm really disgusted at how full it is of shit. Time to clean it, I guess. But in general, it's just like, I guess by being sustainable, I don't spend as much money on things so I can use it up. And just in general, like, I don't, like, when I go grocery shopping, for an example, or go and have to buy bathroom products such as like shampoos and deodorants and stuff, I'm not actually spending as much money as I used to. I'm actually spending a fraction or even half of the bill when I go get groceries or going to go buy my bathroom products. I think that's also because I've learned on how much I eat in 2 weeks, and the foods that I do purchase are, like I said, that I do go shopping at the Bulk Bar. That's like my all-time favorite all-time favorite shop to shop at. Because unlike your typical grocery store, um, you get to measure out your own the amount of flour, for an example, the amount of coffee you need to last your 2 weeks. Like if you bake, or if you're a coffee addict, you could purchase it and measure how much you need, and it turns out to be a lot cheaper than going to the grocery store and purchasing the bag of flour or the bag of coffee. And it's, to me, generally more eco-friendly and more sustainable to me to go shopping at my local Bulk Bar. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so at the same time, I've also noticed that as I'm decluttering, at the same time decluttering my house and becoming more sustainable, um, living, I've noticed by using up all the products, each week, I'm watching my recycling and my garbage go down and down and down, and realizing and how much, by taking out the products that use trash like plastics and garbage, um, I didn't realize on how much trash I was consuming every week. But now, while living sustainable, I've realized that I feel my house is so much cleaner. It doesn't, like, I'm not putting trash out every week. It literally takes me a month to fill a half a fucking shopping bag of garbage. And at the beginning of this video, I said that a year ago I was filling a half of garbage bag, and now I'm having a hard time filling a half of a shopping bag. A half a shopping bag of trash. And do you know what that consists of? I have 2 cats and I have a dog. So half of that shopping bag, half of it, okay, I fill half the bag. So half of the trash that's in there is actually pet waste, like cat litter and like dog poop. So, and the remaining of it is like barely anything you can consider garbage. Like, to me, that's amazing. A year ago, I had filled a half of a black garbage bag. And that's, to me, over a year later, that's a lot of fucking garbage I used to produce. And the same thing with recycling. And so a year ago, I would fill up. So if you put all my recycling in one bin, that would be one bin of recycling every single week. But over a year later, I'm having trouble filling that. Like, I think I have maybe a quarter to half of a recycling bin, to which to me that's still a lot of recycling, but it mostly consists of like I said, you gotta use up the products that you already have in your house. So using up old shampoo containers, using up the containers that you have in your house, like in your cupboards for food. But at the same time, it kind of helps at the same time. I enjoy painting a lot, so some of the things that I use up in the cupboard, I now use in my office to paint with, like to some containers to have paint in, or rip it apart so that I can put paint on. So it's kind of like recycling in a way, like reusing something before it goes to trash. Or if I'm not going to make something from scratch, I'll buy in a jar, which is more sustainable than plastic. So, did you know that plastic takes up to over 1,000 years to even start decomposing? 1,000. That's a long fucking time for plastic to sit in the landfill, because not all plastics are recyclable. And like I said, I've been having my period for 14 years, and that pad 14 years ago is still in the landfill. That's fucking disgusting. But back on track, I generally use those jars, like after getting spaghetti sauce in a jar. Reuse that jar later on for when as I go to the Block Barn and I need more flax seeds. I now get to use this jar to store them in on the counter or in the shelf. So, yeah, that would be considered still a sustainable living, because I'm taking a jar that I had used that came with using pasta sauce is now holding my flax seeds or my chia seeds or some nuts. So to me, that would be a huge difference from a year ago, where I would have just thrown the jar out and gone and purchased a jar from the dollar store. Meanwhile, there is a jar in the recycling that I could have just reused instead of spending the money and buying a whole new jar. Seems absurd to me. But I am more like in my sustainable living journey, I still have a lot of work to do in changing a lot of my daily habits and routines and a lot of things in my shopping still, but I have come a very, very long way in just a year. Like, I had cut my garbage down to a lot, to a fraction, like from a half of black garbage bag down to a half of a shopping bag. That's a lot of trash that I have fucking cleaned up. And the same thing with recycling. I've gone to filling a whole recycle bin of recycling down to like half of it, like down to a quarter to a half of a recycle bin of just recycling. So I don't even bother taking out the recycling every week. I maybe take it out once a month because I don't really see a point of taking like 4 items to the curb each week. I just wait till the bin's full, which takes about 4 to 6 weeks. Like, I know that the recycling truck is still coming around the neighborhood, but it's one less stop that the recycling guy has to do each week, in my opinion. And I am also aware that one person can't change the entire world, but one person can start. It only takes one person to start something and make it a trend. That's how it starts. Um, and I hope that the people who are quote unquote using sustainable living as a trend, I hope it kind of stays with them. Because, like I said, I have noticed a lot of things in my habits. And the fact that I don't have to take the trash to the curb each week or be like, oh fuck, I forgot to take the garbage to the curb makes a huge difference. And I've actually saved a lot of money each month by going to sustainable living lifestyle, in my opinion. Um, Even though it does save me money, I'm using less trash each week or producing less trash each week. Um, like I said, even though every person has a carbon footprint, and even though that my footprint is small, it does make a huge difference. The amount of trash that I'm producing now each week is a huge fucking difference from over a year ago. And now that I see my life today compared to where I was a year ago, I'm actually very proud of myself for making it this fucking far. But anyways, thank you for watching this week's episode of It's Whatever, right? If you are new to my show, please feel free don't feel free. Please subscribe to my channel if you are new. If you're listening on YouTube or if you're listening on to Apple Podcast, on iTunes, please, please, please subscribe to my channel. And hit the like button and don't forget to share so that other people can have the same experience as you. I hope that each experience with my podcast each week is a good experience. So please subscribe, hit the like button, and share my podcast. And if you are listening on YouTube, feel free to uh, share your opinion, leave your opinion in the comment section on this topic. I am completely down on reading and talking about everybody's opinion on each topic that I share each week. So feel free to comment, and also feel free to comment on things that you would like to hear in a podcast. I'm always down to take new ideas and new topics. Yeah, till next time, thank you for watching, or thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Bye.